Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live hangout here at Voice Essentials. It is so good to have you and have you company join us. Hello to everyone in the live chat. A lot of you already. There's 20 odd people right from the outset. So it's good to have you all. If you're watching this show as a live, not as a live, as a replay, then it is so good to have you joining us as well. Most of you watch this show as a replay because for so many of you in the Northern Hemisphere, this is a very late. And then I forgot to put my phone onto silent. Let me just hang that up. It's all happening. I hope you are safe and healthy wherever you are. And I'm just checking that I quickly started today's show, so I'm just checking that I've got all the right settings. I hope everything's going as to plan. I hope you are safe and healthy wherever you are. This coronavirus situation continues to play out. All of us, depending on where we are in the world, all of us are at different stages. Here in Australia, we have the very fortunate circumstance where our curve has been flattened. I take it that would be familiar language to many of you, regardless of where you are in the world. It seems to have become the phrase of 2020, flattening the curve. We have here in Australia, because in many respects we were many weeks behind the rest of the world because of our relatively isolated position as a continent, we're able to kind of do a lot more preparatory work, and so we are in a very fortunate position here in Australia. Sadly, we've had lives lost, but gratefully not as many as many parts of the world. If you or any of your loved ones have contracted the coronavirus and as a result have developed the COVID-19 disease, our thoughts and our prayers are with you. If you've lost loved ones, then there are no words that can help you at this time other than to say we are. We empathize with you, we sympathize with you, and we are hoping that the years to come will bring brighter times for you. Talking of brighter times, we've got so much happening here at Voice Essentials, and we already had quite a big year planned in so many regards, but of course coronavirus has sort of thrown everything up in the air, and we're just sort of seeing where things land and trying to position things as we go along. I just want to quickly talk you through part of our response to coronavirus, and I'm just going to check something here because I'm having a look, just making sure that we're still live. I think we are. We're all still good. Make sure the stream health is healthy. It is. I think so. As many of you know, I do this show by myself. With the exception of Linda, who is taking your questions in the live chat as we speak. Linda, my ever faithful helper, is taking the questions. If you've got a question, we're going to dedicate most of the show today to Q&A, which we'll get to in a moment. And so leave your questions in the live chat. Linda writes them down, and then I answer them as the show proceeds. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Linda is also our moderator, and she has full permission to remove and delete any inappropriate goings on in the live chat. So just so you know, we are kind here, we are supportive, and we speak respectfully to one another. So be mindful of that in the live chat as we go. So how have we been responding to the coronavirus? Well, I am very cognizant of the fact that singing, it's by no means the silver bullet when it comes to coronavirus. That's called a vaccine, and we're all hopeful that in time one of those will be formulated and distributed across the globe. In the meantime, what we want to do is keep singing. Singing is such a positive thing to be doing at a time like this. Singing boosts your immune system, and research has shown it to boost your immune system. It maintains mental activity. It's really positive for keeping your brain active. And at a time like this, it's all too easy for our brains to become a little bit numb as we watch a little bit too much Netflix or Disney Plus, or, you know, which is, they're good things to do. I watched my fair share of Netflix on the weekend, but it's still good to be able to really exercise your brain. And then on top of that, singing has been shown to activate and release really positive amounts of endorphins. Endorphins are the feel-good hormone that your brain is able to stimulate and release into your bloodstream. It's the feel-good endorphin, and it's fantastic for your mental health. And so singing during times like the crisis that the globe is currently in is really positive. So there's a number of things that I've done to kind of try and help us all to keep singing. I want to talk you through a few of them. Firstly, I've actually placed rather heavy discounts on all of my learning materials, including the exercise collections, the online course, which you can see going along the bottom here, voiceessentials.com.au. All of that is heavily discounted currently, and it will be all discounted. I can't keep it discounted forever. It will have to come to an end on April 30. And so if you are wanting to take advantage of that, I encourage you to do so soon, because those discounts will have to come to an end very soon. What I've also done, because I'm very cognizant of the fact that it's very hot at the moment, so I'm turning my air conditioner on. What I've also done, and this was a response, if you like, an initiative that I've taken. Many of you, I don't talk about it all that often here on the show, but I also have another, like a mini course. It's called 7 Days to a Better Voice. Many of you have participated. In fact, I think over 10,000 people have participated in the mini course, the free mini course called 7 Days to a Better Voice. And it's a 7-day email program. You receive an email every day for 7 days, and it walks you through just a really mini course of learning to sing. Now, as a part of that course, you used to be given a discount to download Voice Essentials 1 exercise collection for about 15 Australian dollars. What I have done, and I'm quite proud of this, because I really do, it speaks to, hopefully, and it communicates to all of us here at Voice Essentials how keen I am to see you all developing your voice and to maintain your singing, is now, instead of having to, in fact, you didn't need to download the tracks for the course to work. The course stood alone, but the tracks were definitely helpful. Over the 7 days, we cover 7 exercises. And I have put those 7 exercises, which come out of the 18 exercises from Voice Essentials 1 exercise collection. I have grouped those into a little package called the 7 Days to a Better Voice gift pack. And it is, wait for it, 100% free. No charge, absolutely free. All you need to do is go to, if you type into your search engine 7 Days to a Better Voice, you'll find it. It should be it's generally, I just searched it myself, it was at the top of the search. And just go to, I think it's 7 days to a better voice. If you go to www.7, the number 7, days to a better voice.com. If it's not .com, it's .com.au. You put that into your search engine, then you'll get onto the thing, and then you can start that 7 days to a better voice. That will send you the first email. You've got to put your email address in. It'll send you the first email, which will have the password. The page that you have to go to get the gift pack is password protected. So I give you the password in the email. All you've got to do, find that email, find the password, and you can get in. It's a special gift to you from me, and I'm hoping that, as I said, that it keeps us all singing. That's what it's designed to do, and I hope it speaks to the intent of just how passionate I am to see you developing your voice. As I said, it's 100% free. The course also comes with downloadable print sheets, value add viewing. It's got all the instruction. It's I reckon all up, it's as a mini course, it's probably worth about 50 Australian dollars. And some might argue that it's worth more, but for you guys and gals, it's 100% free. And I'm gonna let it go, see how we go over the coming weeks and months. It may remain free. I can't be fully committed to that. I've got to see how it runs, but I wanted to let you know that is there for you now. I haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. In that couple of weeks, it was a big job. As many of you know, so a lot of you have participated in the voiceessentials.com.au online course. Now, we've just spoken about the 7 days to a better voice mini course, and it really is just a mini taster, if you will. But the full-blown Voice Essentials 1 online course, which is currently on special, many of you participated in that, and I have been preparing Voice Essentials 2 online course over the last few months. I finished the video recording of those last week. Oh, what a job. Like, seriously, what a job. It's such a big task, but I'm so keen to get it to you. It will be, now I've got it starting on Wednesday. I will start the third. There's three mammoth parts to this. Writing the scripts of the video, shooting the video. So I've got 1 and 2 out of the way. Now I've got to edit the videos. And my wife, Jody, who is an educational specialist, she's going to now start helping to formulate it all and put it all together so it's structured into a really robust educational process. And that will all be ready for full release come July 1. That's what we're aiming for. As I said, I think we've always aimed for July 1, and that's what we're going to hit. There will be a pre-launch release mid-May. I'll continue to remind you about it. For 2 weeks, it is going to be on a 50% special at $97 Australian dollars. Normally it's going to be $197 when we release it, but for 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of May, it will be on special for you guys for $97. It's 12 modules. It's a couple of modules larger than Voice Essentials 1. And I know many of you keep emailing me going, when's it going to be ready? It's coming, it's coming. But just squirrel your pennies away so that you can take advantage of what is going to be a really significant special at that. The other thing too, we have been, I'm always looking to improve the Voice Essentials program. We will get to your Q&A in a second. If you've joined us for the first time, we always update, keep you up to date with what's going on. we always try to sort of massage and refine and improve the whole Voice Essentials suite of learning materials. And it's one little tweak, but it's a little tweak I think many of you are going to appreciate. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be adding a journal page, if you will, somewhere where you can record your practice and you can make notes, and we're gonna put those pages into the e-manuals. And so keep an eye out for that. If you've downloaded it from the Djarts site, or if you've engaged in the learning materials through the voiceessentials.com.au site, then in the next couple of weeks, you'll start to see me populating those sites with the new voice weekly to do pages. It's a little tweak, but I think it's one that many of you are going to really appreciate. Those of you who like to write notes and make goals for yourselves, it's going to have manuscript on it where you can write music for those of you who use that. So that's all going to be there. Keep an eye out for that. Coming up now, for the next 2 weeks, I know we didn't see each other last week because it was Easter Monday. Well, here in Brisbane, Australia, the next 2 Mondays, we have public holidays. So next Monday is a celebration, a commemorative occasion that we have every year called Anzac Day. It is our war memorial day, and where we honour those not only who have fallen, but those who have served our country in times of war. And so that's next Monday. So there will be no live show next Monday. Then the Monday after that, we have what's called Labor Day. And that's a public holiday also. That's not Australia-wide. I mean, Australia-wide has a Labor Day, but all of our different states have the different times. Well, Queensland's Labor Day is in 2 weeks. That means our next live show is not until the 11th of May, Australian Eastern Standard Time, and that will be with a guest here on the show. Her name is Ingrid James. She is a jazz vocal specialist. If you are interested in jazz, you have got to tune in 3 weeks' time, because Ingrid she has been doing not only the jazz singing thing for a long time, but she has been teaching jazz for a long time. She is wonderful. She is a friend of mine, a personal friend of mine from here in Brisbane, Australia. Remember, I've been telling you I wanted to introduce you to more Aussies, because we've got so many fabulous Aussies singing teachers and performers here. I wanted to introduce you to a few of them. Of course, 2 weeks ago we had Francesca on the show. She was so inspirational. Well, I think you're going to find Ingrid will be just as inspirational. Finally, before we get into doing Q&A, which we're going to do, there's a whole heap of questions coming in. Thank you, Linda, for taking all of those down. I've got to look at my notes. The live song review. Now, many of you have seen the live song review. We've done it twice. Sadly, we've only done it twice. I say sadly because both times that we've done the live song review show, it has been phenomenal. It's been fabulous. We did one with Kathy Snyder, who was just so good. And then we did one with our well-known Linda, who is a moderator, who is also a personal, she is a private student of mine. But so many of you have said how much you've got out of the live song review. Now, what happens as a part of the live song review, if you haven't seen it, is you basically come on to the show with me here at the same time. The live show is every Monday, not the next 2 Mondays as we just talked about, but every Monday, Australian Eastern Standard Time at 1 p.m. And we kind of do a live lesson, if you will. Now, there's some things to go through. What I get you to do is pre-record a song. And you can do this with your smartphone. It doesn't have to be studio quality. And we play the songs as part of the show. And then what we do is we workshop it and we masterclass it. Basically, you get a free singing lesson as a part of the live show. Now, there is one key prerequisite to participation, and that is you must be enrolled as a paid enrollment, so not as the free preview, but as a paid enrollment of the voiceessentials.com.au, just the first course. Okay, so you do have to be a participant in that to take advantage of it. But look, I would love, between now and the middle of the year, I would love to do at least 2 more live song reviews. Everyone reports how good they are. Yes, it can be a bit nervy to participate in that, but I assure you, for the 2 ladies that have participated to date, it has been a wonderfully positive experience. And I'm pleased to say, not only for them, but also for me, and also for everyone who's watching. So I would love for you to jump in, think about now. All you have to do is send me an email. Just send it to singing@djarts.com.au. I think there's a link. I think I left the notes in the description section below this video. Just send me an email, and I'll send you all the details, and it can step you through. I really hope a couple of you take up that opportunity, because I know how much it brings to us as a collective community. Wow. I didn't think I had a lot to say, a lot of news to say today, but evidently we did. Okay, let's get into some Q&A right after this. Okay, so let's jump in here. We've got so many new people who are jumping in and watching the show. If you are new, you are so welcome. I'm so glad you can join us. We literally have people who join us every week for the live show and who watch the replay from every corner of the globe. And I am always so humbled to have all of you join me in my humble little 6x5, home teaching studio. I actually am a singing teacher. I know there are a lot of people on YouTube who call themselves such, but I actually have been doing this for 25 years this year, and I actually am a fully fledged academic doctor in teaching and learning. With a focus on contemporary vocals. So let's dive in and see if we can apply some of that experience and knowledge to your questions. I'm looking over here because that's where my questions are. That's also where your chat is, which is convenient. Prachi Ranjan, and I always give your names a go. I don't always succeed, as you're about to find out, but I do make it an attempt. Can we do humming as the only vocal exercise? Can you do humming as an exercise? Absolutely. Exercise 8 in Voice Essentials 1 exercise collection has humming as a part of the activity. From remembering correctly, exercise 19 in Voice Essentials 2 has humming as a part of the activity. But should you only hum as a part of an exercise? No, I don't think so. That would be like restricting your voice very, very heavily to only one small, tiny aspect of good vocals, and it would really hinder your vocal development as a fully fledged, wide parameter kind of thing. So no, I would be, I encourage the use of multiple vowels, We do a whole range throughout the 50 odd exercises in Voice Essentials, the Voice Essentials suite of exercises. There's a whole range of sounds and things that we do. So humming can't be the only thing, but it certainly is a part of the picture. Sarah Ali says, I watched your video for the type of voice and I still cannot identify my type of voice. Can you help me? Sarah, if you're still having trouble, can I tell you, tell everyone that, you know, a lot of the material that I and most people put out onto YouTube, one of the challenges of the technology as it currently stands, who knows where technology will take us in the future. But currently, one thing that YouTube videos cannot do, they're a great way to start. They're a fantastic gateway into learning. But what they can't do is they can't reflect back to you and tell you when you're either doing it wrong, diagnose any issues, you know, and steer you into better directions for your specific voice. All of the information that you receive here on YouTube, it should be, and I certainly do my best to keep it rather generalized, because it's going out to, well, the video I think you're referring to, Sarah, or is it Sarah? It might be Sarah or Sarah. That video's had nearly 1 million views. Now, you know, so that's nearly 1 million people. I think it's up to 880 or 900,000 views. That's a lot of eyeballs that have seen it. So that one, you know, 12-minute video simply can't meet everyone's needs, you know, in one video. And so there can come a point where you do need personalized instruction. And it may well be that in this particular instance, you would be advantaged by seeing if you can spend some time with a singing teacher, or even an experienced piano player who's had a lot of experience in accompanying singers, and maybe watching the video with them, and then they can help you step through that and give you some feedback that you might find advantageous to understanding and identifying your voice type. I hope that it doesn't really give you an answer, does it? But really, if you're struggling with the video as it stands, which does sort of step you through it, then it sounds like you might need someone to sit with you and walk that through with you. Lord Supreme, how should Leggero tenor be trained, please? Well, that's more of a classical question. The very fact that you've identified specifically Leggero tenor, which we don't really work with in contemporary voice, that's more of a classically focused approach, and I don't instruct classical singers. And so, you know, I approach tenors like I do firstly with every voice. I build a basic, foundational, healthy, sustainable technique that works across genres by specifying genres to start with. Then we look to genres. I meant to say registers, not genres. That looks at the individual registers, and then we connect those registers. And so, yeah, if you're specifically looking for that voice type question, then that's more of a question you might want to target towards a classical singing teacher. Cody D, who apparently has multiple questions. Hello, I want to ask, how long should I train my voice to become a pro? That is the question of how long is a piece of string, Cody. There is no length of time that I can give you. What I can say to you is I think it takes between 18 months to 2 years to establish a solid, foundational, dare I say, beginner level to intermediate level technique for healthy, sustainable singing. When we start to talk about pro and amateur, we're kind of talking about a different thing. I have met a lot of what people would class as amateur singers, people who don't get paid, whose technique is amazing. I've equally met a lot of professionals and worked with a lot of professional singers whose technique is, dare I say it, almost non-existent. So professional, the word professional does not equate to being highly skilled. Professional simply means you stand in front of someone and you get paid to do it. There are a lot of people who are making a lot of money who, you know, their voice in many respects lives on the edge of wear and tear the entire time because their technique, there's the house is built on sandy soil. And so, you know, so we really have to think about what it takes to become a technically skilled singer, not a professional. Because anyone, I mean, Cody, you could go out today and start charging to do what you do. And if people will pay you money to do it, then congratulations, you're a professional. What it doesn't mean is that you've developed any technique. If I've got time, I'll come back to your other questions, Cody, because there's heaps of questions coming in here. Smile Baby, can I learn singing online? Watching your videos with having a trainer for real to check on me because I cannot afford. Smile Baby, maybe the help that you need would be, the first step would be the free mini course, 7 days to a better voice. Maybe that would be the best way forward for you. As I said, it's free. The exercise track, the 7 tracks, they're free. And maybe then the next step after that is to, consume as many of my videos as you can. There's over 450 videos already on my channel, and we're climbing to 500. I've got new ones being produced, new pre-record videos that are currently being edited and produced by my editor in Vienna. Yes, she's in Vienna. That sounds very cool, doesn't it? But anyway, that's what I do. I hearken back to the question about with Sarah that we had, the comment I made earlier, and that is with, the gold standard is to have someone to work with, for everyone, and I do mean everyone. There comes a point where YouTube will only take you so far. The next best thing is to have a course like mine, the Voice Essentials courses, where I can guide you, and what I've done in those courses is also curate the videos. It's almost impossible to go through 450 videos and know which order to go through them, and to how to structure that. Well, the course curates and directs you through those. Not all of the videos, if I might be so bold, not all of them are worth watching. Sometimes I watch back on my videos and go, oh dear. Anywho, but the majority of them are, and I've curated those ones. But then really there comes a point where you do need to step into a studio with a qualified singing teacher, an experienced singing teacher who can give you personalized, individualized feedback. We currently, to this point in history, we do not have any other way of doing it. Suresh Kumar, I don't know if that's how I would pronounce that SH on the end. So I have not ability to control my breathing. There is a video that I recently produced on Stop Running Out of Breath, I think it's called. If you go onto the channel page, Suresh, you will be able to watch that video, download the worksheet. It's like a 28-day challenge, and it will help you to improve your breathing. It absolutely will. If you follow it and do what I'm telling you to do in the video, you'll get benefit from that. Ryan O'Rourke, could doing neck exercises like weighted flexion extension, bending and turning, improve the capabilities of muscles that control your vocal folds via the law of muscular irradiation. And Linda has said she doesn't, has never heard of muscular irradiation, and Linda is a trained GP, like a general practitioner, like a doctor, and I've not heard of that term. I would have to look that irradiation. I would have to look that term up also. As we always say here on Voice Essentials, I don't know everything, and quite clearly I don't know that word. But I suspect, like Linda has written in her little notes here, that it means to, I guess, irradiate the musculature with blood flow. That's kind of where my thinking would go with that word and the context. Let's just say that's what it does mean. I have no idea, but that's where we're going to go with it. Look, the thing with any muscular development, and I have a whole video about workouts in the gym, and is that a good thing for a singer to do? Is it not a good thing? The challenge with every muscular workout for a singer is how is it building the voice? How is it building the musculature? If certain parts of your musculature are overly toned and they carry too much, bulk and what have you, for example, the abdominal muscles, I've seen one thumbnail of a singing teacher, or so-called, with his shirt up and pointing at his six-pack and going, this is how to breathe better. Actually, it's not. To have a six-pack would suggest that muscle tone, which is, good for you if you've got a six-pack, but having that level of muscle tone really can restrict significantly the ability for those muscles to release, therefore allowing the diaphragm to efficiently descend so that you can take a well-balanced breath in. And the same goes with, muscular strapping, shoulders, neck. We've got to be really careful. It's interesting. I was pointing out to my 15-year-old son, we were watching the second season of the F1. I really love Formula One. F1 on Netflix, there's a couple of seasons on there, and I was pointing out to him how lean the drivers are of these cars. They're not, another sport I love to watch is rugby league here in Australia, and the same would go for NFL players. They're big, muscly guys, and they need, for NFL and for rugby league players, they need to be big and muscular and bulky. But for a F1 driver, they need to be lean and really strong, very strong, but very lean. And the point I'm making is, it all comes down to what kind of muscular fitness do you need to the task, and singers need muscular fitness to the task that we do. Our aerobic fitness needs to be very high, but we want to be very careful that we don't overtone our bodies from a muscular point of view. This can be, I know this is for those of you who work out at the gym regularly, well, here in Australia, no one's working out at any gyms because all the gyms are closed currently. But if and when you do have to be very careful, because it will have an impact on the health of your voice and the agility of your voice. So be very careful around that. This person's just simply called music. How do you know if you are singing from the throat? Well, firstly, you always sing from the throat. The larynx is housed in the throat. The vocal folds are housed within the larynx. So, to play semantics, you always sing from the throat. What we don't want to be is what speech pathologists will often refer to as being laryngeally focused. It's a term that we'll tend to use mostly for speech, where it feels like all the sound is constantly coming from here. what we want to ensure with our voice is that there's constant full instrument use. That means that your abs and your obliques need to be involved, even your thighs, your buttocks, your pelvic floor. We don't want our voice to be laryngeally focused. We don't want all of the work to be centered here, because the larynx shouldn't be left to do all the work all on its own. We want to make sure we're working with a fully integrated system. We typically know that we're singing from the throat, to use your terms, music. We typically know that we're doing that when we experience higher levels of vocal fatigue. There's often a reduction in range because the voice will really struggle to move effectively through registers, and there'll be a heaviness to the tone, because the vocal folds, when we are laryngeally focused in our speech or in our singing, the vocal folds will become quite laboured, and therefore often will take on a swelling, a protective swelling that is designed to sort of cushion themselves as they work hard, and so we do want to be careful of that. I'm looking at the time. I'm going to have to go soon, everyone, because I've got a student at 2 o'clock, and I'll have to get ready for that in a moment. But in the meantime, a few more questions. Gamer Man's Games wanted you to say hi to me, but also have a question below. I'll come down to your question. Hi, Gamer Man's Games. I'm coming down to your question. What kind of perfect voice exercises should I try to help my voice become what I want it to be and sound like? Look, the Voice Essentials 1 online course, Gamer Man Games, will it will step you through step by step. Of course, you can participate in the free course, the free online course at the moment, the mini course, 7 Days to a Better Voice. But if you're really serious, the mini course is a bit of a taster. It gives you some insights. And we've seen thank you for the I've just seen the super chat. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you're able to throw that in there. Yeah, so I'll answer your question in a second for the super chat. So yeah, do the course, Gamer Man's Games, whether it be the free one or the full one, and that will help you. I'm gonna read this straight off the screen from Great. How to transpose melodies to a comfortable low range for baritone. I tend to be off key and pitch in some songs that are higher than I can sing. So what you've got to do, Great, is play around with backing tracks. You know, I had a bit of a smile on Sunday. Many of you will have seen the big show that Lady Gaga put on the weekend, which was such a wonderful initiative for the celebrities, the A-list celebrities, to do. But I did have a bit of a smile because a lot of them, not all of them, but quite a few, certainly the ones that I saw, were using backing tracks. The much maligned practice of singing to a backing track has become acceptable. And it's something I've been encouraging many of you here for a long time. Use backing tracks. They're a wonderful facility, and there are some really good tools that you can search for online that can transpose backing tracks, whether it be usually, and the little tool I use is called Chronotron Pro. It usually I only transpose it up 3 steps, 3 semitones, or down, because the moment you start to get any wider than that, you know, you can either feel like the backing track, the backing vocals, if there's backing vocals on it, are sounding like chipmunks or Darth Vader. So you've got to be very careful how far you go. But generally that will help you to find a better range. And great, there's kind of no trick to it. What I tend to do is, if I'm with a client and I'm working with them here in studio, it's a bit trial and error. I've gotten better over the years in kind of picking where I think it will be, and more often than not that I get that right. But if I don't, we just adjust and play with it. And so sometimes here's another little trick. sometimes the song sits too low. And so the temptation is to actually go up, or sometimes it's the opposite, it sits too high, and so the temptation is to transpose low. What you can try and do is actually, if it sits too high, transpose it high, but sing down the octave. Or if it sits too low, transpose it lower and sing it up the octave. And when you use all of those facilities, all of those little tricks, then more often than not, you will find a suitable key for you. I hope that helps. And thanks for the super chat. Very much appreciated. I'm going to give the last question to Kelly, Kelly Morrison, because then I've got to go and teach everyone. Well, not everyone. I've got 3 students this afternoon. I've got to go and teach them. Kelly, when do I know when to stop practicing? I am new and very excited, so tempted to keep pushing, but do not want to cause any setbacks. Thank you in advance. When do you know when to stop practicing? I take it you mean like a specific practice each day. Look, to start with, I know where you're coming from, Kelly. It can be very tempting to just go, and before you know it, you've been singing for 2 hours. If you do that, you will pay the price. Really, you've got to take, and everyone hear this really clearly, because this is really important. It's important, especially for when you are first starting out as a singer, as a beginning developing singer. And that is, you must take a long-term view to this. You cannot approach this as this is going to happen in weeks or months. Developing your voice takes years. If you can work that into your psyche and be really mindful of it, so that, I'm just changing the screen here. If you can really sit comfortably with that, then there's no rush. And so when we first start to practice, it's important to practice. I always instruct beginner singers, absolute beginners, every second day. We start with 20 minutes every second day. And then after a week or 2, you add 5 minutes. Every second day, add 5 minutes until you're going for you can sing for about an hour. This is about building stamina. This is about building your capacity from a muscular level. I've given the illustration before. If I decided I wanted to run a marathon, if I step out my front door today and decide I'm going to run 42 kilometers today, I'm in for a world of pain. I'm even likely to do myself some serious damage at a health level. But if over the next 6 to 9 months I developed a program where I built up, maybe I started running 3 kilometers today. 3 kilometers is nowhere near 42. But maybe then next week I start running 4 kilometers. In a month's time, maybe I can run 5, and we slowly build it up over time. And we build our musculature, our capacity to carry that load. In my humble opinion, you should always provide your voice with at least 1 to 2 days of vocal rest, relative rest. And I even say in the start of Voice Essentials 2 online course, which is coming, it's coming so soon. I say at the beginning of that course, if you are up to being able to practice every second day for about an hour, then you can expand that to about 5 times a week. So where it was 3 or 4 times a week practice for about an hour, now we're able to do about 5 times a week. And there's really no need to be doing any more than that over time. And Kelly, I know that you're engaging with a lot of our learning materials here. I've seen your name come through a few times. And so continue to step out the process. Take time. Don't circumnavigate the journey. The journey has too much to teach you. It has too much to teach your instrument, your body. And I think we've got to call it a day. I've just looked over at the time. It's 10 to 2. Wow. I've got another 3 hours of teaching ahead of me this afternoon, so I better call it a day. Again, we don't see each other now for 3 weeks. We'll be back. We've got our guest, Ingrid James, will be joining us on the 11th of May. I'm double checking. 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Hey, if you've enjoyed the show, subscribe to the channel. Hit the white bell icon, because it will send out a reminder to you to remind you when we do go live. We were doing live shows way before it became popular to do so in the last couple of months with the coronavirus. I was looking the other day. I think we're coming up. We're drawing close to having done nearly 200 live shows. That doesn't sound right, does it? Might be 150. Anyway, it's a lot. We've been doing this a long time. It is so good to have you have joined us, and I very much do look forward to seeing you again when we get back together in a few weeks. As always, you'll hear me say at the end of every show, I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.